Good morning. You thought you were going to get away without hearing my voice today. Well, too bad. Stop laughing, Abby. Stop laughing, Kennedy. All right. So I'm gonna walk you through the agenda and explain what you're doing today, and we'll go from there. First of all, I'm gonna hide my big head so and get it out of the way, and then we're gonna go from here. So first, we didn't quite finish up on Thursday the causes and effects of the Meiji Restoration, or the Meiji, the Emperor Mushihito taking over from the shogun who had ran Japan. So remember the mantra: modernize or be colonized. So that on slide 7 on the notebook, slide 7, we have causes, economic, social, and political effects of the Meiji Restoration. Again, after the U.S. had found them, Japan goes through the period where they start modernizing. We looked at the Russo-Japanese War, we looked at the Sino-Japanese War, and how that built Japan into a power, eventually an imperial power themselves. But it's a reaction to imperialism. Well, we're going to look at some of the causes and effects. So of this restoration, this very quick turnaround from a feudal society into a modern industrialized society for the late 1800s, early 1900s. So to do that, you've got two word walls. They are both set in such a way that I would do the causes and effects first, this one first, and then they're both set in such a way that when you complete them, they'll show you the responses. Then by there, you'll be able to just go ahead and do this slide. So again, the two causes and effects word walls that will be posted right now, it's shadowed, but will be posted. And then you're going to do, once you've done those causes and effects, and then the social, economic, and political effects, and you get them, you figure out which ones are correct, then you can go ahead and take from there and do this slide. Next slide on the agenda, slide 6, which is also due Thursday, 3:14 in class. Remember, you'll have class time for this. You're going to look at these two primary source passages. One talks about the principles of education. Based on the passage in your prior knowledge, which statement, 1 to 2 sentences, best explains concerns about reforming education in Japan? Remember, you're going from a society that had been very traditional in education, very moral, using Confucianism, to one that has to adapt to the new society, technologies, and so on in the late 19th and early 20th century. Based on your knowledge of the Russo-Japanese War, which we learned about last week, taking that port and the treaty excerpts above, write a statement that best describes the impact of the Russo-Japanese War. You could also help use your guided reading that we went through last week for help on that as well. So that's both due on Thursday. That should not take you a tremendous amount of time. The other thing is we started looking at the motives for imperialism. At least we got through the economic, political, and religious motives in class on Thursday in this particular class. So you're going to start undertaking a pair deck, just the pair deck this time. The pair deck, which will be scored as a. Let me get my big fat head here so I can show you this, so you can understand. It's going to be scored as a completion checkpoint assignment. Not, I know sometimes the pair decks is supplement to the notebook. This is primary in the notebook. Now, for Tuesday, you're going to do. And let me it will be a student paced pair deck, and you're going to look at you're going to highlight 5 to 7 words on the pair deck to familiarize yourself. There's a couple of more motives for imperialism that you're going to look at: economic, exploratory, political, ideological, religious. All of them are defined. Highlight 5 to 7 words that are essential for that. Essential. So, like for example, profits. You might highlight profits on here. You might highlight profits. So I could circle profits. You can highlight that on here. And then you're going to go to and look at and check off, drag and drop which motive is most prominently presented in this image: a diamond mine in South Africa. Okay. And then explain your views on why you think the diamond mine in South Africa, which one based on these is most prominent. And the same is true of this quote from Henry Morgan Stanley, who was a explorer in Africa, in the Congo Basin, and his quote here, and which one does that express, and then why. And then the same is true of a sketch of Dr. Livingstone. Dr. Livingstone was one who went in for Great Britain and explored a lot of South Africa. So you're going to do through slide 10, drag and drop which ones are most prominent and explain why. Through slide 10. So up till this cartoon, through slide 10. Not all of it, just through slide 10. If you happen to get done and you're stretching, and this is not going to be due for a little bit of time yet, this is not going to be due for a little bit of time, probably Friday, as I'm gone a couple of days, as I told you on this week. Why were the European powers able to spread imperialism? Slide 15 and 16. This is a fairly easy, or excuse me, slide 14 and 15. I guess I should change that to slide 14 and 15 on here. I'll do that on the fly right now. Slides 14 and 15 in the notebook. Why were they able to spread imperialism? And you can use this link here, the big ideas on European colonization, to be able to do that. It gives a good explanation. This is going to be one of the easiest things you do all year, but that's not due probably until Friday. So that it's a TBA on that one. So that one's a stretch. If you don't have that, if you don't get that, don't worry about it. Okay, so there should be quite a bit there to keep you going. I expect, I'm gone today, so again, you'd probably rather I be there in some instances, because we don't throw away day. So I will see you on Tuesday.